Ethan just wanted pancakes with his daughter. But when he looked into the waitress's eyes, he saw something most people would miss: pure fear. What he did next didn't just change her life, it left the entire diner frozen in silence. Ethan Cole wasn't looking for drama. He'd had enough of it when his wife died in that house fire 6 years ago. Since then, it was just him and Gracie. Pancake Saturdays were their thing, a tradition that grounded them both. Dinertown was always the spot. Extra syrup, Daddy. Gracie grinned, swinging her feet in the booth. You read my mind, he smiled. Their waitress approached. She was new. Young. Soft voice, eyes that wouldn't quite meet his. She poured coffee and nodded at Gracie's order, but Ethan caught the tremble in her wrist. The bruise on her forearm. You all right? He asked gently. The girl flinched. Yes, sir. Just tired. She turned and walked off fast. Ethan watched her weave through tables with forced politeness. She smiled too quickly, and her eyes scanned the door every 2 minutes. Something was off. Then a man entered. Worn jeans, gray hoodie, scruffy beard. His eyes locked on the waitress like a target. She froze at the coffee station. He walked straight up to her, said something low, gripped her wrist. Her smile vanished. Ethan's instincts, long dulled since firefighting, roared back. He slid out of his booth and walked toward them. Hey, he said, voice calm but firm. You all right, miss? The man turned. Ain't your business. Ethan looked at the girl. Is he bothering you? She hesitated. That pause said more than any word. The men stepped in between them. Back off, hero. Ethan didn't blink. Gracie, he called without turning, go wait in the truck. The diner went quiet. A fork clinked onto a plate. The men sneered. You think you're some kind of tough guy? I think you need to let her go, Ethan said. The girl whispered, barely audible, please, just leave. But Ethan didn't. He stepped closer. The manager finally noticed. Is there a problem? The men let go and stormed out, shoving the door hard enough to make it rattle. The girl's knees buckled. Ethan caught her arm. You're safe, he said. But her eyes said otherwise. The diner slowly returned to life after the men left, but the tension hung thick. Conversations were hushed. People kept glancing toward Ethan and the waitress like they were watching a bomb that hadn't finished ticking. The girl sat at a booth near the kitchen, hands shaking around a glass of water. Ethan waited nearby, not saying a word, just letting her catch her breath. He had learned that silence sometimes made people feel safer than questions. I'm Lily, she finally said, voice dry. Thanks for stepping in. Ethan nodded. You don't owe me anything. But if you're in trouble, I can help. She stared at her glass. You can't. No one can. That man. He's my ex, she said flatly. But calling him that doesn't make him less dangerous. His name's Brad. I left him 2 months ago. He was controlling, paranoid. Thought I was cheating if I was 5 minutes late. Ethan clenched his jaw. He hit me once, she whispered. Then he said sorry. Then he hit me again. I packed a bag in the middle of the night and ran. Came here because it's a quiet town. And now he's here too. She nodded. He must have followed the bank transaction when I paid rent online. Or hacked my phone. I don't know. He always finds me. Ethan had seen fear before, on burning rooftops, in people too numb to scream, but this was different. It was fear buried so deep, it had become part of her reflex. You need to report him, he said. I did. Twice. But he's never dumb enough to leave bruises where cops can see. He's got a job, clean record, charming smile. They always believe him. Ethan's fists curled under the table. Then he hasn't met me. She looked up. Why would you care? He shrugged. Because I have a daughter. And if she were in your shoes one day, I'd hope someone would care. Lily's eyes welled up. She blinked fast. That night. Back home, Ethan sat on the porch while Gracie read a comic inside. He dialed Riley, local cop, old friend. Need a favor. Trouble. A girl's being followed. Her ex-dangerous type. Need me to file something? No. I need you to find out who he is and what he's done. Off the record. Name. Brad Sutton. Out of state. Possibly Texas plates. Riley whistled. You're stepping into something messy. I've seen messy. Just get me what you can. Back at the diner, next day. Lily showed up for her shift but looked like she hadn't slept. She jumped at every bell, every new customer walking in. Ethan parked his truck where she could see it from the window. Brad didn't show up that morning. Or lunch. But something told Ethan it wasn't over. People like Brad didn't take silence as surrender. They took it as planning time. Around 3 p.m., a car parked across the street. Tinted windows. Didn't belong to any customer. Ethan stepped outside casually, pretending to check his tire. The car revved, then pulled away. He walked back in. He's watching. Lily's face went pale. I've got a spare room at my place, Ethan said. Gracie's at her grandma's tonight. You'll be safe there. I can't. It's just a couch. Not charity. Just safety. She hesitated. But eventually, she nodded. That evening, Ethan made grilled cheese. Lily ate in silence, still jumpy. You don't talk much, Gracie had once told Ethan. He figured she'd say the same to Lily now. He handed her a folded blanket. Bathrooms down the hall. Door locks. She paused. You trust people fast. No, he said. I trust my gut. And it says you don't deserve to keep running. Lily whispered, I'm tired of being afraid. Ethan nodded. Then let's stop being afraid. Later that night, while Lily slept on the couch, Ethan sat by the window, watching the driveway. Around 2:12 a.m., his phone buzzed. A text from Riley. Brad Sutton, for restraining orders. 1 expunged arrest in Phoenix. Charges dropped, lack of evidence. This guy's no joke. Ethan's pulse slowed. Then, headlights appeared far down the road. Not a neighbor. Wrong time of night. Wrong kind of driving. A black SUV pulled to the curb, lights off. Ethan stepped onto the porch. Slowly. No weapon. No yelling. The SUV backed up. And then it was gone. Ethan barely slept. By sunrise, he had already called Riley. He came last night. SUV. Sat on the curb, then peeled out. You want a patrol car posted? No. I want you there, but not in uniform. I think today's the day he tries something. You think he's that dumb? No. I think he's that obsessed. The setup. The plan was simple. Ethan would take Lily to work like it was any other morning. He'd sit in his usual booth, drinking coffee. Riley would be there too, across the diner with a newspaper, no badge in sight. If Brad showed up, he wouldn't leave. But nothing went exactly how Ethan expected. At 8:03 a.m., the diner's bell rang. Brad walked in like he owned the place. No hoodie this time. Button-down shirt. Clean-shaven. Fake smile. Morning, sweetheart, he said to Lily as if yesterday didn't exist. She froze behind the register. Ethan stood. Brad saw him and smirked. Still playing hero. Riley was already texting back up from his booth, but Brad didn't seem worried. He leaned on the counter. Relax, he told Lily. I'm not here to fight. Just want to talk. Like grown-ups. Lily's hand slipped under the counter. Press the panic button. You should go, Ethan said. I'm not talking to you, Brad snapped. Then softer, to Lily, you know you can't hide forever. I forgive you. I do. Come home and we'll start fresh. Her voice came out steady, surprisingly so. You don't get to forgive me. You don't own me. People in the diner started looking up from their plates. Brad chuckled. So this is who you are now? A waitress, living in some stranger's house with a kid. Is that the future you dreamed of? She stared him down. Better than fearing the sound of keys in the door every night. That shut him up for half a second. Then he lunged across the counter. Riley was already on him, tackling him to the floor. Chairs scraped. Coffee spilled. One woman screamed. But no one ran. They all just watched. It took 5 seconds. Maybe 6. Brad tried to fight. Riley cuffed him anyway. You're under arrest for violating a protective order and making terroristic threats. Brad roared, you can't prove. Riley held up a phone. Actually, I can. You've been recorded since you walked in. Diner's full of witnesses. And guess what? That little button under the register. Cops heard every word. Lily was trembling. Not from fear. From release. An hour later. Brad was gone. Taken downtown. The diner was half empty now, but the atmosphere had changed. Lily sat in the break room, Ethan beside her. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Don't say anything. Just breathe. I thought I'd always be running. You're not anymore. A pause. I don't know where I go from here. Ethan looked at her. Wherever you want. But if you ever want to stay, I've got a garage that needs a manager and a daughter who's starting to like your grilled cheese. She laughed, wiping tears. That was the worst grilled cheese I've ever made. Then you're hired. 2 weeks later. Lily moved into a small apartment 2 blocks from the diner. Got a restraining order backed by actual evidence. Brad was still in holding, and charges were finally sticking. Gracie started asking if Miss Lily would join them for more pancake Saturdays. She did. And one morning, as Ethan sipped coffee and watched Lily laugh at something Gracie said, he realized something. He hadn't just saved someone from danger. He'd watched her save herself. And the whole diner had seen it happen. Not with sirens or drama, but with a quiet strength that left everyone speechless.